Okay, if you are brand new to business or brand new to sales and you're looking to sign your first client or make your first sale, here is a three-step sales process that I can guarantee will increase your closing percentage because I've used it to sell well over $1 million worth of product as well as sell six-figure high-ticket products. So let's get right into it. If you have ever been on business YouTube, which I'm sure if you're watching this you have probably heard of some jacked furry guy named Alex Ramosi. He teaches a closer framework. If you don't know what this is, it's see, clarify why they're there, label them with a problem, overview their past experiences, sell the vacation, explain away their doubts, and then reassure the purchase, right? So ideally, in a perfect world, a skilled salesperson would be able to start the beginning of the call here, take them all the way through this process to this end, and close them in one call. Now, if you're watching this video and you're new to sales, this is probably going to be very difficult for you to do, right? So what I recommend is you break it out into 3 steps to make it way more higher converting and digestible for both you and the prospect, right? So essentially what we're going to do is we're going to piecemeal out the closer framework, right? So our C meeting, which is going to be an introductory meeting, we're going to be doing the C, the L, and the O. So we're going to be clarifying why they're there, labeling them with a problem, and then overviewing their past experiences, right? So a lot of times in sales, when salespeople first start or business people start building their business and try to get a deal, is they try to go through this entire process all at once because that's what they were taught, that's what everyone says to do. And it is, but what they end up doing is just doing a poor version of every single one of these steps because they've never done it before and they end up losing the sale right then, and they lose the opportunity of even trying to sell the person a second time, right? And the best salespeople are those who ask for the sale the most. And in order to ask for the sale the most, you got to make sure they keep getting on calls with you, right? So this process is going to optimize for that. So to start, I'm going to give you guys a little bit of a tactical method here, tactical advice for this C meeting and this introduction, because I think it's probably the most important, as well as how you start the beginning of this meeting is critical to you closing the sale. So there's a guy by the name Oren Klaff who wrote a book called Pitch Anything. I highly recommend you read it. But in a nutshell, if you want the spark notes, what Oren Klaff talks about is frame control. This is basically controlling the environment of the sale. If you can control the environment and the frame of the sale, your convincing power is way better and your conversion rate is way better because they will adapt to the environment that you've set for the sale. Read the book. He'll do a lot better job of explaining it. But the way we want to start the beginning of this call in the introduction is doing what Oren Klaff calls a time frame. So it's, John, listen, I've only got about 10 minutes here. John, how you doing? I've only got about 10 minutes here. I got another call I got to jump to after this. So if you don't mind, let's just hop right into it. Is that fair? John's going to say, yeah, man, I'm busy too. Let's get right into it. Fantastic. So before we get started, John, I've got nothing to even sell you today. I'm just here to figure out if I can even solve your problems, right? So I'm gonna ask a few questions, try to get an idea of even if I can help you. And if we both decide at the end of it that I can, we'll set up a longer deep dive to get into the nitty gritty of things, but today should be super simple and easy. Does that sound fair? Yeah, great. The fair thing, that's Jordan Belfort's great way to end like almost any question because everything's fair. It's very rare that things are unfair. Now, let me briefly double click into that introduction and why you frame a call that way. So the 10-minute frame is what Oren Klaff calls a time frame. So you're busy, I'm busy, let's get down to business, right? You're increasing your status a whole bunch. And a lot of times people, they don't want to be on a sales call forever. They tell me if you can help me and let's get off, right? I got things to do, people to see, right? So that's why you always time frame in the beginning. Builds your status, makes the prospect more comfortable. Second, what you're doing is, I'll put it down here, nothing to sell, all right? So typically when people get on sales calls, they're expected to be sold. Who would have thought? But when you say, I've got nothing to sell, again, they know ultimately you're gonna try to sell them something, but when you say this, it's like, listen, I'm just here to figure out if I can solve your problem. helps lower their guard a little bit. They're like, this guy's not gonna be one of those salespeople that just jams things down my throat and tries to get me to buy. It allows them to answer this clarify, label, and overview questions a lot more honestly. When people feel as though that they're being sold, they'll tend to hold back a lot of information because they know that you're going to use it against them, right? It's like getting regular Miranda rights. You know, anything you say can and will be used against you in a court of law. That's how people feel about when there's a hard sale coming at them, right? And they're like, the more I tell this guy, the more he's going to use it against me, right? So when you say, hey, listen, I got nothing to sell, I just want to see if I can help you, lowers their guard. They tend to get a lot more honest with their answers on these questions, right? So let me erase this real quick. Great. So how do we end this call? We've now clarified why they're there. We've labeled them with the problem. We've overviewed their past experiences. I'm not going to get into the details of these. There's tons of YouTube videos about it. But lastly, what I'll leave you with is with the overview. Have you tried solving this problem in the past? Yes or no? Either way, whether they say yes or no, what have you liked about previous solutions, or what would you like for a solution, and what didn't you like, right? Figure out what they like and don't like about solutions, and that's it. That's how we're going to end the call, or how we're going to end the overview. The way we end the call is saying, John, listen, you know, after chatting with you today, I'm really confident that I can actually help solve this problem for you. We've worked with a lot of people just like you, and I think I can knock this out the park for you. But that being said, like I said, I got nothing to sell you today. I want to demonstrate and show the quality of my work first and bring a couple solutions to you to even see if this is something that you believe in and you think would really be helpful to you and to help solve your problems. Is that fair? Of course it is. Sure. Yeah, that sounds fair. You want to do free work for me? Sounds like a plan, Lee Stanley. Let's do it, right? So very easy next step. We always want to leave this meeting with a next step. And we're basically saying, hey, John, I'm not even going to try to sell you. I'm just going to prove to you that I can do what I can say I can do. And this is a massive piece that I wish I knew when I first started my first business is I'd spend so much time convincing people that I can do what I can say I can do, because I could do it. And I tried convincing them when in reality, it's like, why don't you just show me? Like, you don't even need to tell me, just prove it to me, just show me. So if I had just said like, hey, do you have the problem that I'm solving? And am I solving it in a manner that you enjoy? Great. Let me prove it. Let me just solve it for you. Let me show you, right? So this is going to be your deep dive meeting in this B, right? Now you might be asking yourself, like, Evan, what the heck am I supposed to do or demonstrate in this meeting? What am I supposed to show this guy? Well, what I'd recommend is go through your onboarding process. What do you typically deliver in the first, what's in your onboarding form? What do you deliver in the first 2 or 3 days of someone signing with you? How do you deliver value to them? Look at those first couple steps and just do those in this meeting, right? And what's so beautiful about this first meeting and your introductory meeting is they quite literally told you what problem they're trying to solve, how they've tried solving it, and what they did and didn't like about it. And now you can tailor your solution exactly to that, right? So I'll give you an example. When I was running my cold email service company, we'd run cold emails at scale. Our attraction offer was basically, you don't pay unless we book you meetings. That did really well at getting people on sales calls. It would get people on the call, but it wouldn't necessarily close them because they don't believe you. They're like, yeah, you're going to charge me a massive setup fee, which we did. And now I'm stuck with, all this infrastructure that you built for me, but I got no meetings and I'm here to get meetings, right? Every single guy says that he's paying performance. Meanwhile, they charge me a massive setup fee. So what I would do is, and a lot of times they'd say, what makes you so different, right? Why should I work with you? There's another Oren Clough technique that I'd say, honestly, John, nothing. We're not much different from any other company. At the end of the day, we put good messaging in front of the right prospects at scale for you and try to get them on calls with you. What I would say that is different about us is we believe in the basics. We believe that the basics are the basics for a reason because they work, and we just do them way better than everyone else. Everyone else in this space, they try to implement some new AI or shiny thing or cool little software tool. In reality, we just do good work at scale. we do the basics better than everyone else. And sometimes if you tell a really good story, they'll believe you and buy right then. But assuming that we're not too good at this and we're new, they probably won't. And we're gonna get in front of that. We're gonna say, listen, I don't even expect you to believe me, honestly. I don't expect you to believe all the things I'm telling you right now. But what I would love to do is show it to you, prove it to you on our next call. Does that sound fair? Of course it does. So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna do that on our B deep dive meeting. Now, what I would do in a cold email setting is typically, the problem was we need to ask them what were the past times you tried to solve this, what didn't you like about it, is the prospects weren't qualified or we just didn't get prospects, period, right? So what that really means is the list sucked or the copy sucked. So what I would do is I'd say, hey, listen, on this next meeting, I'm gonna bring you a lead list of the exact people that I would reach out on your behalf if we were to work together, as well as a few copy angles that I think might work. And then you can review it and listen, if you decide not to work with me, no worries, you can take the lead list and the copy, use it for yourself or give it to another agency. But if so, we could definitely, start working. If you like what you see, let's do more of that. Let's work together. And a lot of people will be like, yeah, it sounds great. I like the sound of that. So what we do is we build a lead list and copy angles. We wouldn't write the actual copy because one, that's too much work. And two, when you deliver actual copy, a lot of times they'll nitpick it. Whereas if you just deliver angles of like, here's the strategy that I would take, it inspires them, they like it, and there's less to object to, right? So in this deep dive meeting, we're setting up the meeting with everything they just told us in this first one, right? John, you came here because, you're lacking lead flow into your business. You said the problem is your salespeople just, one, they don't do cold outreach well, and two, they just can't reach out to enough people. And, you said you worked with a few agencies before this, but, either the agency wouldn't deliver you leads or the leads that they would deliver just weren't qualified, right? Does that all sound right? We're re-bringing up the past, redefining everything that we said in our first meeting. They said, yeah, you know what, Evan, you're 100% right. That is, you hit the nail on the head. Great, John. Well, let me show you how I would approach this personally if we were to work together, right? So now we're giving them a little picture into the beautiful world of working with us, right? Here's a lead list that I developed for you with exactly targeted leads. And again, even if this lead list is wrong, no one does this. At the end of the day, they'll be like, this is all right, but you're targeting CMOs and we'd rather actually just go after CTOs. No worries, John. I make that tweak. That's easy enough. Copy angles. Hey, we tried this copy angle before actually, and it didn't work, but I think that this might work. Sounds good to me. There have been times where I've delivered these and we did not even use them, but the fact that I delivered them before even asking for money or commitment or deal or contract, people appreciate that and no one does it, right? So you're building a massive expertise and reputation in front of these people. And it makes them a lot more likely to convert. So often, if you do this meeting correctly, you can close them right here. You can close them in this meeting. 9 times out of 10, when I get done presenting all of this stuff, they're like, where do I sign, man? I'll take 2. But sometimes that doesn't happen. And again, what we're gonna do is we're gonna punt to the next meeting. Bam fam, right? This is another Hormozyism. Bam fam. Ooh, bad M. Book a meeting from a meeting. Never leave a meeting without a next step. Never, ever, ever, ever. This is something that my boss drilled into my head when I first started in this industry is never, ever, ever leave a meeting without a next step. You should always know the next time you're gonna speak to the prospect. Even if you close them, even if they sign the contract, you should know the next time and they should know the next time they get to talk to you. So we go through the lead, we go through the copy angles, we go through our deep dive, we present our little lead magnet or whatever we want to call it. And they're like, listen, I need to talk to the tooth fairy, my CMO, my business partner, my wife, the dog, the cat, whatever. Let me talk to them and I'll get back to you. John, honestly, I'd be blown away if you didn't have to talk to them. I expected that, honestly, right? Because we're doing the same thing. We're getting in front of the objection on them. I'd expect you to. Excuse me. Let's do this, John. I've got my calendar pulled up. I've got some time on Tuesday at around 3. You mind pulling up your calendar? Does that time work for you? listen, let me see what my wife says or my business partner says, and then I'll get back to you. John, totally fair. Listen, I'm a busy guy. I know you are too. If you're anything like me, it's way easier to take something off your calendar than it is to put it on. So if you don't mind, let's just pencil in Tuesday at 3:00. And listen, if at any point between now and then you talk to your wife, or you're laying in bed one night and you just are like, this isn't gonna be for me, this is gonna be a fit, no worries, man. Just shoot me a text, shoot me an email, we can take it off the calendar. But if so, we at least got that time blocked off. Is that fair? Of course it is. Of course it's fair. It's always fair. So we're gonna say, this is the close. We're gonna bam into the close. And now at the A, again, if you're at this point and they don't close, stop wasting your time. Just move on, put them in a lead nurture sequence, and get them on a call when they're ready to buy. Because 9 times out of 10, there's going to be a timing problem or a budget problem or whatever it is. I'll give you another acronym. This is from IBM, I believe. BANT, B-A-N-T. Budget, authority, need, timing. Those are the 3 things that you need to get someone to buy something, especially at higher company levels, right? So if you get to this A meeting and it doesn't close, something went wrong on one of these 4, right? Something went wrong there. Budget, authority, need, timing. And it's your job to define what that is so you don't make the mistake next time. Now, that talk track that I just went through of let's put it on the calendar, take it off, if that doesn't work, there's a reason I say that and the way I say it, and I highly recommend you just copy that, is because 1, it gives them an out, so it's much more comfortable for the prospect. 2, if that meeting sticks, if they don't text you and cancel it, you're almost guaranteed to close. You almost know that it's going to be a close because you said to them and they agreed, listen, man, if this isn't for you, just let me know. We'll take it off the calendar. But if they don't take it off the calendar, they probably thought about it and they're like, this is for me. I'm not guaranteeing 100% close rate at this point, but I can almost guarantee you it's going to be a lot higher than it was before. And again, if it doesn't, it's a problem in BANT. It's one of those issues. It's one of those problems right there. So yeah, that's the entire 3-step sales process in a nutshell. I wish I used this more when I was new to sales. I didn't even think about it or know it existed, honestly, because I was constantly just going through this entire process in the very first meeting because I thought I was, I'm a rock star salesperson. That's what all the gurus say. You got to close. Coffee's for closers. And what you really end up doing is just screwing up everything and losing the sale as well as losing an opportunity to sell them again. And in my opinion, when you're starting in sales, your job is not to close as many deals as possible. It's to get good at sales as quickly as possible. Get good at this process as quickly as possible. So the guy that's optimizing for closes and is trying to get the most amount of deals possible is going to try to go for the close and see and go through all of this and screw it up, and maybe he'll get a sale before you. He probably will because he's just going for it more, but he's also letting a lot of things fall through the cracks. Whereas with you, if you follow this 3-step process and make this sales process more digestible for both you and the prospect, for every 1 lead that you get in, you get 2 to 3 sales calls, right? Whereas with this person that's always going for the close, they only get 1, right? And closing deals does not make you better at sales. Doing more sales is what makes you better at sales, right? Think about I can equate it to sports, right? Obviously, we always want to score touchdowns. That is the ultimate goal. But if you're going for the touchdown every single time, you're just Hail Marying it, deep ball every time, and it gets intercepted, you're not getting any better at football. Whereas if you're listen, I'm just going to try to pick up 10 yards, work my way down to the end zone, get real close, and then punch it in, we've now got the touchdown, and we got way more reps playing football. We got way better at football, right? So I think this is where a lot of these big ego guru guys are oh, if you're not going for the close, you're a loser. You're not going to, win in sales. Maybe that's true to an extent at a high level, but for beginners, I think it's going around about the process completely wrong. The goal when you're starting at sales is to get good at doing all of these, doing these 5 steps, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6 steps perfectly, right? And the more times you get to go through these steps, the better you're going to get at it, rather than just going for the touchdown every time. So that is 3-step sales process in a nutshell. I hope it's helpful. I run a Skool community that I talk about this stuff all the time. If you want to learn more about this stuff or talk more about it, it's completely free to join. The link's in the description. Awesome, guys. Hope that was helpful.